people greatly misjudge what it's actually going to take. And they also misjudge how much money they need to make and how hard it is going to be to make that money. The idea of what it takes versus what it actually takes is almost polar opposites in culture right now. We have all these people on the internet telling all these people who are just desperate to make some extra money that it's easy, quick, pain-free, and you're going to be rich, and I'm going to make you rich. And all of that is a lie. All of it, okay? Becoming successful is way harder than you think. It takes way longer than you think. It takes everything you got, and if you don't give it everything you got, you're not going to make it. What is up, guys? It's Andy Frisella, and this is the show for the realists. Say goodbye to the lies, the fakeness, and delusions of modern society, and welcome to reality. Guys, today we have Q&AF. That's where you submit the questions, and we give you the answers. Now, you could submit your questions a couple different ways. The first way is,
guys, you can email these questions into askandy@andyfrisella.com.
or you can go on YouTube in the comment section on the Q&AF episodes and drop your question in the comments as well. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole intro today because this is the midweek Q&AF. And if you listen to the first couple shows this week, you know what we're going to do, all right? But we do have a fee. Let's not forget the fee, because the fee is very important. Send us money. No, I'm just kidding. That's not the fee. But hey, we do appreciate it when you support our companies, what we got going on here. But mainly the fee is this, guys. We need your help to get the message out, all right? We're always dealing with censorship, shadow bans, content moderation, having things removed. So if the message resonates, please share it. I don't take ads for the show. I know we're the only show of this size in the world that doesn't take ad revenue. And the reason I don't is because I don't want to be told what I can and can't say. I want to keep it real with you guys. And if we're going to keep it that way, I need you to help me get the show out. So don't be a hoe.
Share the show.
All right.
I have no idea why they keep fucking with us.
Huh?
Like, why do they keep fucking with us? We're just trying to make people better.
Hey, they don't want people to be better.
That's what it is, bro.
I'm being dead serious. They don't want people to be better. They want people to be, little brain motherfuckers. What? I don't get it. That's what they want. What? Let's do the show. What's so funny? I don't get it.
All right. All right. What's going on, man?
Why are you always laughing at your own jokes, dude? We're trying to do a serious show here.
What's going on, man? How you doing? You good?
I don't know. I feel extra smart today.
Yeah. Show's been doing good, man. I don't want to get big-headed, but show's been doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's make some people better.
You look like you lost some weight.
Do I? I fucking throw something at you, bro.
All right. Let's get better.
Yeah, let's get better.
Let's no fucking around.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you a question, man, because we had this question come in. And, I think at first I was like, nah, we're not asking that question. But then I'm like, no, there could be some actual benefit to this question, right?
Yeah.
We talk about society, talk about culture on this show. So let's address something, man. Very, very simple question. Should OnlyFans be considered legit entrepreneurship? What's your take on that? I got 3 good ones for you. This is just a little intro talk.
It sounds like you got 4 good ones.
There might be 4 good ones for you. Yeah.
For $3.99 a month.
Yeah, that's it.
See my butthole.
That's
all right.
cheap,
is that a real question?
No, real question. Like, is that considered because obviously.
Well, dude, look, there's a product. You got a product. There's demand. Mm-hmm. There's limited supply.
Mm-hmm.
You charge money for it. The market tells you what entrepreneurship is or isn't.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You're solving a problem. There's a lot of lonely people out there. Yeah. And whether you agree with it or disagree with it or how you think about it morally is not the case. I think it's definitely entrepreneurship. Fucking drug dealing's entrepreneurship.
Right.
So, the level at which entrepreneurship it is debatable because you're not really, you're not really innovating anything.
Right.
People have had buttholes for
Ever.
Yeah. And, I think you've just taken something that people search for in reality and putting it in a digital format and you're selling it.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't matter what you think of it, but
yeah, if we take morality aside from it, right? But so you're saying the fundamentals are there, but I think that does lend to like this thing that you always try to practice, right? Like this ethical entrepreneurship of actually solving real fucking problems with real solutions. What's is it not really meeting that line, or does it really matter in this
in today's culture, there's a lot of people that don't have social skills, who don't know how to date, who don't know how to meet people, who are addicted to their phone, and whether or not we agree, I think you guys all know that, like, I don't think that's a good thing.
Sure.
But we can't argue if it is or isn't. It is.
Yeah.
So
what would you like to see, like, because I feel like this whole OnlyFans thing, it is going to be a trend. It's a fad right now. I don't see it being like this long-term thing. So do you have any recommendations?
Well, why do you see it not being a long-term thing?
Well, I don't think culture will tolerate. I think there's going to be a swing in culture to where like there will be a morality shift in culture, I believe.
I think that's already happening.
Right. And so I think like as far as this, like what
the demand for that product though is infinite.
Potentially, for sure. But I think, we're already seeing it in there's states that have already, changed the requirements for like porn, just simple porn sites, right? Like you have to have age checks and verifications. I think there's going to be an elevation in morality in society and culture that's going to raise some standards and expectations. And so with that, I hope that.
Well, dude, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
All right. Say there's a married couple and sexually they're into voyeurism or somebody, like watching them have sex, and they do OnlyFans together. Is that immoral?
Personally, I think it's still.
Is it?
Yeah, I think.
Why? Because you're just sharing what you would naturally do publicly. You're not marketing to kids. You're not marketing. I'm just asking a question.
I think there's always going to be a demand for it.
Here's what I think you're saying.
Yeah.
What I think you're saying is there's going to be social rejection of the people who have done it.
For sure.
We're already seeing that. We're seeing a lot of men say, there's no way I would date a girl on OnlyFans.
Right.
There's no way I would marry a girl from OnlyFans. And, bro, I think that's a legitimate, concern of most men.
Right.
And women seem to, have bought into this feminism shit where they're like, I don't give a shit what people think, but you do, because then when no men want to date you or marry you, you get very upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a non-emotional issue. It's just what is and what isn't. And for most men, having their counterpart on OnlyFans for everybody to see is not what they want. They don't want that. They don't want to walk into a party with especially ambitious men and successful men. They don't want to walk into a party with a woman that everybody else can see naked on the internet or see him masturbating on the internet. They don't want to. They don't want to see. They don't want that. Like, that's embarrassing to other men, and it is what it is. Now, men might have sex with those women, and do I think that's fair? I'm not the fair judge. I'm just telling you the way it is.
Right.
But there's a lot of confusion around what's happening in society, and I don't think it's good, bro. I don't think men were ever meant to see unlimited naked females at their disposal at any time of the day, 24 hours a day. I think it's very destructive, and I think what it does is it actually destroys men's motivation to try and become and achieve and conquer and build and become the best version of themselves, because that's really one of the biggest motivations for men. One of the biggest motivations for men to go out and build a life is so that they can have more choices when it comes to women. And women probably don't understand that, because women have a lot of choices most of their life.
Right.
So, when you remove the motivation for men to, a big part of the motivation for men to go out and become something, you get men that produce less and become less. And I think we're seeing that in society.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Is it actual entrepreneurship, or is it, yeah, bro, there's girls that make millions of dollars a month
They
doing
pay
this.
taxes, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, that's a whole nother thing. A lot of them just got in trouble for that. But
They're
But yeah.
supposed to pay taxes.
Huh?
I said they're supposed to pay taxes.
Yeah. Well, they don't. Yeah. That's a whole nother topic. But yeah, man, I think I think it's very damaging to men in particular. I think it removes their motivation. I think I take away, you not wanting people to see your girl naked or doing shit. Take that away and throw that out the window. When men have unlimited selection of, sexual gratification through porn or through OnlyFans or even through men that can get any women they want, because there's men that can do that, like that are at the highest level, and they don't exercise discipline, it actually removes motivation for them to become what they're supposed to become. And, when you meet someone that you love and that you connect with in a real way, that person should help drive you to become the best version of yourself. And so, that partnership is very, very crucial to the success of a culture, because we have roles and we have a partnership that is pushing people to be better. And when we remove that, because men can just get whatever they want whenever they want and they haven't earned it, you get a bunch of pacified, weak men that live in their basement and jerk off 20 times a week. You know what I mean? And that's what we end up with. And they don't build anything. They don't conquer anything. They don't contribute to anything. They don't become anything. And, society loses out.
Yeah.
So, I think there's a big discussion that could be had there, and it could be hours and hours long. But, I don't think that you can't say it's not a business.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love it, man. I love it. Well, guys, Andy, I got 3 good ones for you. 3 more good ones for you.
3 more?
3 more.
Okay.
Yeah. 3 more. Open the door. All right. Guys, Andy, question number 1. You didn't get that one? Open the door. Baby Ruth. You know the guy that's like knocking on the doorbell? Okay.
The bill collector? The guy won his bike back?
Oh, man. Guys, Andy, question number 1. What's up, Andy? Thanks for the show. You and DJ are funny as fuck, and I love following the advice you give. I'm 26 years old, and I've had trouble running my clothing business. I've completely transformed my mind and body, and I've been told that once you become an all-around better person, it makes it so much easier to succeed in business as well. The only problem is my business isn't getting any better. So my question is, what can I do to get more customers in the door, and how can I create a culture or feeling that makes my brand stand out? Thanks, Andy.
Okay, well, first of all, yeah, you can get ripped, bro, and you can get your mindset right, and you can get, healthy mentally, and you can become the best version of yourself. But unless you know the fundamentals of business and execute those, you're not going to be successful. So we have to understand, when I talk about you building the best you to become successful, that's with an understanding that you're executing the basics from a tactical standpoint. And if you understand the tactical techniques that it takes to build a business, to market, to brand, to fulfill the customer, to scale, all of these things, when you understand those and you execute those, and then you become the best version of yourself, you become way more effective, and then you will make a lot more money. But this idea that you can just do all of these things and money's just going to come flowing in the door, that's not true. So you might be a little misunderstood there, bro. So that's the first part of the question. The second part of the question is, how can I get more customers and my business is not getting better? Well, that could be a lot of things, man. Like, I don't know exactly what your problem is. Your product could not be good. Your message could not be resonating. You could be telling a poor or a weak brand story. You could have, your product doesn't fit right, or it's inconsistent. Maybe your ads aren't resonating. Maybe you're taking too long to deliver the product. Maybe when people are getting the product, it's fucked up. Who knows? Like, there's not enough data here for me to tell you what's wrong. But what I will tell you is that if you think that you're just going to do some cold plunges and lift weights and get ripped, and then you're going to become a multimillionaire, that's not the case. If you learn the basics of business, and what I would encourage you to do is to go back and listen to every single MFCEO project, and then consider joining Arete Syndicate, where we go through these exact topics over the course of a year and help guys just like you figure out what to do. And then you meet hundreds of other people inside that group who are on the same mission as you, who honestly become your go-to network. So that's what I would tell you. How do you get more customers? I can answer that in a general sense, not knowing exactly what you have going on. I could tell you where most people fuck this up. Most people fuck this up and they think they're going to launch something. They think they're going to make a product. They think they're going to have a big launch and they're going to get 1,000 customers today. And dude, that's not how this works. You guys have to think of the game differently. And it's always one customer at a time. When we think about how word of mouth spreads now versus how word of mouth spread 25 years ago, it's a completely different game. When you consider how it spread 100 years ago, it's a completely different game. But the principles still exist the same. If you service a customer, you have one customer, you make a product that they're happy with, you fulfill their needs in a way that are remarkable, meaning that they will actually share and speak about and tell people about. That person will tell people the story of your brand, about you, about your product, and then you will have 2 customers, okay? Now, we are fortunate to live in an environment where we have technology through this little phone that we all carry in our pockets to spread messages more quickly. So in the old days where you would have, no internet, no social media, no cell phone, those stories took years and years and years and years and years to spread. And you had to do what you do at a high level for a much longer time for people to accept how good your shit was. Now we live in an era where people can push a button on their phone and talk to everybody they've ever known in their whole entire life and tell a great story about your product, your brand, your service, and you instantly. All right. And you need to leverage that as much as you can. And the way you leverage that is by taking the 1 or 2 customers or 5 customers or 100 customers that exist and treating them in such a way that they tell an incredible story about you and your company and your clothing brand. How do you scale culture around your brand? Well, your brand's got to mean something. It can't just be a shirt with a saying on it. Now, it could be, and you could sell that, and let's just say you're somebody who makes shirts on the trend, right? Like you make a shirt based on something that's happening in society called Hawk Tua, right? Right. That's what's hot right now. And you sell a bunch of those shirts, okay? You're getting sales, but you're not going to build culture around that unless you do that so consistently that people know you're the go-to person for the funny shirts, all right? But in reality, what you have to do is you have to decide what your brand looks like, what it feels like, what it stands for, and then you have to effectively tell that story and live that story through the way that you do business. This is a long conversation. I mean, this is a workshop. I could go over this for 2 or 3 days in a row, maybe a week in a row, and not teach you everything there is to know. And this is why Arte Syndicate exists. But, just that little direction, I think, will help you a lot. Yeah. Stop thinking you can get 100 customers at a time and start focusing on that one customer at a time and servicing them in such a way, which, by the way, is the right way to do business. It's the ethical way to do business. It's serving them in such a way that they tell the story about you, your brand, and what it means to them, and that will get you more customers.
I love it. I love it, guys. Andy, question number 2. Hi, Andy. I'm a mechanical engineer with 7 years experience. I recently moved from a worldwide company with thousands of employees to a small company with 30 employees, and I am one of 2 engineers. It is me and my supervisor on the engineering side. At my new company, the owner or CEO is passionate about the design of our products and tends to micromanage the engineering side. For example, sometimes he will force me to design something his way, even though I can prove to him that his ideas present several issues. Basically, since he is the boss, it's his way. That's one issue. But the other one that bothers me is he will make comments like, quote, "I'm holding you responsible if this product fails." So basically, I'm being told that I'll be accountable even though I'm being forced to design things a certain way that I don't agree with. If shit really hits the fan, I'm nervous about what could happen. Any advice on how to navigate this?
Yeah, on the first point, well, that's the way business goes. If you want to design products your way and you want to do things your way, you should go build your own 30 company or 30 employee company and do that. Okay. Right now you're a fucking employee, which means if your owner or your CEO or whoever wants things done a certain way. He's paying you to do those things a certain way. Now, your job as a value employee is to raise the objections and to show, hey, I don't know that this will work, or I don't know this is the best idea. And what it sounds like is that you have a hard time bringing that to your supervisor without you feeling like you're going to get in trouble to do so. So what I would recommend is having a little bit more of a backbone. Understand that first of all, I think it's great that he's passionate enough to micromanage, okay? Instead of you being upset that this person wants to have their hands on it, maybe you should be thankful that this person cares so much about the company and about the direction of the brand and where it's going to go and how that's going to affect you and your family. Maybe you should be grateful for that instead of complaining about it, because there's most places the CEO is off-site all the time. They're at home, they're on the lake, they're on the boat, they're fucking off, they're in Italy. They're not helping you. That person, whether you agree with them or not, is helping you. So while they might be quote unquote micromanaging and it might be annoying, try to be thankful for it, because I'm sure he's not micromanaging because he wants to fucking lose. Right. Okay? So that's the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say is what I said, already, which is you're an employee and you get paid to do things a certain way. But if you want to be a super valuable employee, you should point out the objections that you have based upon your expertise, and potentially your supervisor, who's been doing something that you do for much longer than you have, has probably already thought those through and maybe knows exactly why he wants to do them that way versus why you want to do them your way. There's so many times where a young person who is a skilled person, like a designer or someone with technical skill, like an engineer, who believes that they know because they went to school exactly what needs to be done, and this person who's been doing something for their entire fucking life doesn't understand because they didn't go to school. Here's the reality. There's probably a very good reason that that person is telling you, no, we don't want to do it that way. And I will bet that the reason is because they did it that way before and it produced a negative outcome. And what's happening, in my opinion, in this scenario is there's bad communication on both parts. The CEO or the owner or the supervisor is not telling you why we shouldn't do things that way. So it's leaving you confused, and it feels like you're being micromanaged instead of working together on a project. The difference between micromanaging and working together on a project is communication. Hey, this is why we can't do this, because last time we did this 10 years ago when you were 12, it fucking did this and this and this, and we fucked it up, okay? That's a teaching moment that a lot of CEOs don't do because they just want to get the shit done, right? So there's communication issues on both sides here. But the second part of it is you should understand that your value as a paid employee is increased by bringing things to the supervisor that will improve the brand. And you have to have the nuance and the ability to understand the difference between you wanting to do things your way or you wanting to do things that are good for the brand, because your ego, which you have, is the same as that person's ego. And naturally, as human beings, we want our decisions to be chosen because they're our decisions. But in reality, on a team, which a business is a team, it doesn't matter whose decision we go with as long as it's the right one and everybody benefits from it. So your job is to communicate the objections you have and then find out why they have objections to it in a positive way that is non-threatening, non-disrespectful, and constructive. And so instead of you sitting here saying, I don't know what to do, I would open up dialogue with your supervisor and say, hey, look, I know I don't know everything, okay? But here's what I'm seeing here. Why do you see it differently? Because maybe he just doesn't see it the way you see it, or maybe there's a good reason that they're saying no. But either way, there's communication here. And any technical skilled person, I'm going to give you some free advice, whether you're a graphic designer, a videographer, you design apparel, you fucking, you're an engineer, you're a technical person. You have to understand that the person who is running the company or supervising you, even though they may not have that skill to sit down at a computer and do the thing, they probably understand the result that's needed much more than you do. Just because you understand how to sit at a computer and design a graphic doesn't mean that you understand what the right graphic is to attach itself to the brand or the customer. Does that make sense?
No, but they have the vision.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have to respect that.
Yeah.
A lot of people with technical skill, because they think they have technical skill, will look at their supervisor and be like, that guy's a fucking idiot. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Well, how the fuck did he get where he is then? You think he just got lucky?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right.
have communication, open it up, be respectful, be open-minded, be willing to learn, and most importantly, realize that we're on the same team. And you should be very grateful for that CEO that wants to walk by your desk and say, hey, this needs to be this way, that needs to be this way. While it might be annoying to you, that person wants to fucking win more than most CEOs, and you'll find that out if you go work at other places like you already have. Why'd you leave that first place?
Right. Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So you're the way I'm hearing this is you're not really happy either way. You're not happy when no one pays attention to you, and you're not happy when someone does. So what the fuck? Maybe it's a you problem.
Dude, I thought about two things here when I was thinking about this. And like, you know, the first thing that came to mind, you touched on a little bit, this ego thing here, right? But like,
You don't want to get a big head.
You don't want. God damn it.
What?
No, but it made me think of it made me like I said, it made me think of two things. And the first thing is like, you know, sometimes you're not able to see your full potential, and your boss does.
Yeah.
You know, and so like you may think that what you just delivered was the best shit since sliced bread.
It might be your best.
And it might be.
Yeah, but because you lack the perspective and the experience,
Right.
you don't know the result that's going to produce.
Right. Right. Or like, because I can, like, just from personal experience working with you, right? Like, I've been with you for a while. I've seen this at play, right? I've seen people deliver something and it's like, no, fix it. Right. And it's like, well, what the fuck, man?
What's wrong with it?
Exactly.
And then there's this.
Exactly.
And then they'll say, well, I don't know. Well, yeah, you wouldn't know because you haven't been doing this 25 years.
Right. But then
I don't expect you to know that. That's why I'm telling you to change it.
Right. And they take that in, they come back, and the next product that they deliver to you is 10 times better.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just,
or they quit trying hard because they think that you're going to reject all their ideas, and they remove all value from their existence in your role.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So don't be that person.
Right.
When someone gives you criticism and someone gives you a framework or someone gives you some advice who's older than you, who's been doing it longer than you, you should give them the benefit of the doubt that that's a pretty smart motherfucker. Like my dad, who's fucking 80 years old, sometimes he says shit and it sounds crazy, but you know how many times he's been wrong? 0. The motherfucker's always right. And you know why he's always right? Because he's lived on this motherfucking earth twice as long as me.
He's just seen it.
Yeah.
He's seen it.
You can't replace that.
No. And that leads into my second point, too, because he says he's pretty new to this company. There is a thing, there's an aspect of trust here, too. Right? Like maybe you just haven't been there long enough to truly trust that your CEO or your leader knows what the fuck they're doing. Like, bro, if you tell me,
well, maybe you shouldn't take the job if you don't trust them.
Well, I'm saying, but that takes time to build, right?
I think a body of work should speak for itself.
Yeah.
You know, if you walk into a company that's built from the ground up, such as maybe, I don't know, the companies I've built, and you automatically think you know more than me, you're probably making a pretty ignorant mistake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, there's probably a whole lot I can learn from that person as well. But I can promise you this. If someone puts something in front of my face at this point in time, there's a 98% chance I'm going to tell you if it's going to work or not, because I've been doing this since I was 19 years old. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and that's where like the technical knowledge people and the experienced people disconnect. It's all about communication, dude.
I love it. I love it. Well, guys, Andy, our third and final question number 3. Hey, Andy and DJ, love what you guys do. Love the Lou. I went to Logan University in Chesterfield long before it was called Logan University. We loved every minute of our time there, except for that goddamn Provel cheese. You watch your goddamn mouth. How about that?
Provel cheese.
He's hating on Provel cheese. That's just the shit. Anyway, he says, anyways, I'm nearing my 50th birthday, and I've worked my ass off to provide for my family for the past 23 years. I got a great wife, a great family, 4 absolute beasts for kids. One's pro soccer player and 2 full rock college athletes.
Damn.
Big house, great practice, 2 grandbabies. Life is good.
Damn. You've been killing it, bro.
You're fucking killing it. It's almost 50, man. My question is, as a high performer like yourself, how do you prevent the quote unquote, it's good enough. How do you prevent that thought from creeping into your mind? Because most nights I just want to come home, float in the pool, have a cocktail, and enjoy the fruits of my labor. So how do you prevent this idea from creeping in that it's good enough?
Well, sometimes it is good enough. Sometimes it is good enough. And let me tell you when that time is, because it's a lot different than what most people think. When you have enough money in your bank account that you can live at the lifestyle you want for the rest of your life and then have that exact amount of money left over, okay, for emergencies, not talking about an extra $100,000. I'm talking about double what you think it's going to cost, then it's good enough. Okay, because there's going to be things that come up. There's going to be things you want to do. There's going to be things you want to buy. There's going to be lifestyle improvements. And when you're at that level at 50 years old, I just had a friend of mine. I had a friend of mine who's 53 years old who's made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, sitting on stacks of cash, going through a hard time in his life and business. He's got so much money, he can't fucking spend it. All right. And I looked at him and I'm like, why are you doing this to yourself? You don't have to do this. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But most people think it's good enough when they're fucking 25. Okay. And most people think it's good enough when they're 30. And then when they're 35. And then they buy into this idealistic culture of, I'm just going to float through life. I'll figure it out. Whatever happens, happens. And then they run out of money and they get in a panic and they don't know what to do. And I'm going to tell you, as someone who's, gone through a large part of my life with no money, there's nothing worse than the financial pressure of having no money. Okay? Money is extremely important. So sometimes it is good enough. And dude, if you're a high achiever, you're going to need to redirect that focus into something else. Maybe it's a charity. Maybe it's a sport. Maybe it's a hobby. Like, I have another very good friend of mine who was very successful in business and retired pretty early and went for 4 or 5 years with nothing to do and was going crazy, and then started a gun company, a custom gun company, where they make the nicest firearms in the world. And now he's happy doing that. You see what I'm saying? Right. When you're built to fucking go to battle, you have to have a project to work on. And as entrepreneurs, high achieving people, we have to have a project, bro. We have to have a purpose. We have to have a mission. We have to have an enemy to defeat. And if we don't have those 3 things, we're fucking miserable. That's what high achieving people are built for. So if you're going to replace, whatever it is you've been doing, which you sound like you might be a little bored with, you got to find something else to replace it with. All right. That's going to satisfy those things, or you're going to be miserable.
This idea of like going to the beach and just retiring.
Yeah. Have you ever gone on a beach vacation?
Yeah, once.
Okay, after like 3 days, it's fucking stupid.
It gets old.
Yeah, old. Bro, and you think you're gonna go down? Like, if that's what you feel like you're missing in life, just go to fucking Cancun for 3 days.
Just go do it.
Yeah,
do it real quick.
Come back. Yeah. But dude, the thing is that people here's the fundamental reality is that people greatly misjudge what it's actually going to take. And they also misjudge how much money they need to make and how hard it is going to be to make that money. The idea of what it takes versus what it actually takes is almost polar opposites in culture right now. We have all these people on the internet telling all these people who are just desperate to make some extra money that it's easy, quick, pain-free, and you're going to be rich, and I'm going to make you rich. And all of that shit is a lie. That is all a lie. All of it. Okay? Becoming successful is way harder than you think. It takes way longer than you think. It takes everything you got. And if you don't give it everything you got, you're not going to make it. And even if you do give it everything you got, if your skills aren't good enough, such as the first guy in the first question, you won't make it. So you got to have the recipe of all of these things to make it. We got to remember, dude, winning is rare. It's not this thing that everybody gets to do. The internet makes people believe that winning is so common and so they make it seem like it's the default. No, losing is the default, bro. Being broke is the default. You have to work your fucking ass off to not be one of those people. And most people are broke and they don't know it. They don't realize that you're in the broke category. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're barely making it and you're living in an apartment and you're stretching and you have $200 left after you pay all your bills, guess what, mother? You're broke. Okay? So what do you have to do to move from this situation? Okay? You have to get more skills. You have to provide more value, whether that be inside of your own company or a company that you work within. And you have to be undeniably great. So how do you do that? Well, that takes an investment on your own time. You can't go out and party with your friends. All these people that you see driving Mercedes and BMWs and Bentleys and all this shit, these motherfuckers didn't go out every fucking day of their life. They didn't do all this shit that poor people do. And I hate to say it like that, but like, bro, going to the bar every weekend, that's poor people shit. It just is. And I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just being real. Like, wealthy people do not fucking do that. Okay? So if you want to talk about like fake it till you make it, it's not fake it till you make it like one of these dumbasses on the internet where they go out and spend every dollar they have to present themselves as some sort of successful person. That's not what that means. Fake it till you make it means fake the behavior of wealthy people until the behavior starts producing a result. And so what do wealthy people do? Wealthy people associate with other wealthy people. Wealthy people make sure that their shit gets done. Wealthy people don't abuse substances. They might drink, they might smoke a little, but it's not a regular thing. Okay? What else do? They work harder than most people. You know, the funny thing is that the people I know that don't have to work another day in their life happen to also be the hardest working fucking people I know. What do you think that means? That doesn't mean they got successful and decided to work harder than everybody. It means they started working harder than everybody 20 years ago when they were nobody, and they've kept that habit, and now they materialized all this success, and people think it's like a coincidence. It's not a coincidence, okay? The reason that the people who have the most money wake up every single day and work harder than everybody else is because they developed that habit when they were broke, all right? And these are just the realities of becoming successful. And I'm not saying that everybody has to become a mega millionaire. Like, dude, that's not what everybody wants. Some people just want to have a little more money, and some people just want to, have a little more freedom, and that's okay too. I'm not sitting here on my pulpit saying all you people that don't have money are pieces of shit. But if you want more money, that's what the fuck it takes. And if you want to be wealthy, it takes a lot more than that. And it really takes the entire focus of your life. If you think of it as like a professional sport, right? To be a wealthy person, that would be the equivalent of being on the all-star team, all right? Well, what's it take to become an all-star player in baseball? It takes 20 years of fucking work as a kid. It takes you making the team. Then it takes you starting over to become great at that level. And then eventually you become an all-star and you make a whole bunch of money, okay? That's the same thing in life and business. You got to work for a long time doing shit you don't want to do when you don't want to do it. Then you get a shot. And when you get the shot, you have to keep getting better, and it has to be undeniable. And that's why baseball is such a great sport, or professional sports is such a great example, because it's driven by actual statistics. You know this motherfucker rushed for 2,000 yards the last 3 years. You know this guy hit 340 for the last 7 years. You know this guy hit 50 home runs. It's undeniable. And when you think of your career and your business and life like that, it becomes more real on what it actually takes. Like, dude, this idea that you can just somehow and this comes from broke parents, all right? Broke parents teach their kids this, which makes them broke. This idea that you're going to just work somewhere and show up every day, and I show up on time, I do my job. No shit. That's what the fuck you get paid for. Okay? That's what you're supposed to do. That's the bare minimum, bro. And just because you show up every day for 40 years doesn't guarantee you anything other than what you already are getting. You have to get better. You have to provide more. And I didn't make the fucking rules, bro. I'm just telling you what they are. Okay? And it has to be undeniable. You have to be able to walk into your superior's office and fucking hold up a piece of paper and say, look what I did. I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. Fucking pay me, man, or I'm going to go over here where they're going to pay me. You see what I'm saying? No. And do they not do that in baseball?
That's exactly what they do.
Do they not do that in football?
That's exactly what they do.
Okay, if you want to know how life really works in business, just pay attention to how it sports is. It's the same thing. We could talk about all this society stuff about what's fair and what's not fair and who's got privilege and who's got this and who's got that, who was born here, who was born there. You know what fucking matters? What stats are you putting up? What's your scoreboard say? That's all that fucking matters, bro. And whether that takes you a year or 5 years or 10 years, that's all that matters. And when you can hold up the results of that and say, this is where it is, you get paid. okay? And there is no situation in life where a high-skilled person gets fucked over. Like, this is a fucking lie. Your parents told you, oh, work for the man for 30 years and fucking, walk away with the cheap gold watch. They don't give a fuck about you, so why are you putting in any work? Gee, I can't wonder why you never achieved anything, okay? Just because your parents are bitter losers doesn't mean you have to be, all right? They're telling you that. You're believing that's the way it is, and then you're not even trying, and you're showing up at work talking about, I showed up on time. That's your win? I showed up on time? In fact, I don't give a what time you showed up. I care about those results. That's what everything's driven by, bro. So if you can't put numbers on the scoreboard, you're worth less. If you put big numbers on the scoreboard, you're worth more. I don't know how to explain this any more clear than that, and people have such a hard time getting it. Like just because you work somewhere for 5 years doesn't entitle you to anything, dude.
Fucking nothing, man.
Huh?
Nothing. It entitles you to absolutely
I know,
nothing,
bro.
Man.
But you got to be good and you got to be undeniable, and that's the only way to win.
I love it, man. I love it.
Like, do you think that these guys play pro sports, bro? Like, have you ever seen a pro sports contest, baseball, hockey, football, basketball, soccer, a contest of competition? Have you ever seen the losing team, an MMA fight? Have you ever seen the losing fighter walk up after the fight and be like, bro, I should have won. I tried harder. I should have won. I'm black. I should have won. I'm a woman. They get laughed out of the fucking game, bro.
It's not even a thought.
I know, but in business and in people's career, these are actual thoughts that people think. Right. I try hard, so I should get paid. Well, you can try hard all you want. If your skills are low and you suck, that doesn't matter. You have to try hard and have skills. And do you know how you get skills? By reps and putting in time on your own and taking time on the weekend and learning your craft and reading at night and doing all these things that the other wealthy people are doing. Okay? So let's clear this up. You have the wrong perception of what it takes. What it takes is way more than what you think it is. And as long as you're willing to do that, which people who become wealthy are willing to do whatever the fuck it takes. That's the bottom line. If you're willing to do that, you'll get that. If you're willing to do half of that, you'll get half of that. If you're willing to do a quarter of that, you'll get a little more than what you got now. And that's the way it fucking works, man.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, guys, Andy, that was 3.
Yeah. Go pay the fee.